Hi everyone. Hi Hidito, Richard, and Trevor. As Shane said, I'm Richard Alam. I'm presenting today uh, instead of Fred and Jesus. They're the people who developed the Big Blue Button and Moodle integration. Fred is on vacation, and Jesus is on his way to iMoot in Montana. He'll be presenting there about BigBlueButton and Moodle integration as well. Uh, so since there's only right now a few of us here on the presentation, if you have any questions, feel free to interrupt me, and I'll try to answer the question as best as I can. So let's get started. I'm Richard Alam. I'm one of the Big Blue Button developers, and also I work for Blindside Networks. We provide support for Big Blue Button for people who want commercial support, such as installing servers or whatever they need with regards to Big Blue Button and other third-party software. And so today I'm going to talk about Big Blue Button and the Moodle integration. I'll give an overview of Big Blue Button and how the project got started, what we have, where we are so far in the development of Big Blue Button. I'll also talk about the integration with Moodle. We have uh, we have a two guys in the company who did the Moodle integration with Big Blue Button, and also going to talk about the what's in the current development for Big Blue Button point 8, which we're about to release soon. We're just done a release candidate and just fixing minor issues. Also going to talk about the roadmap and the future of Big Blue Button, and at the end, if there's still more questions, and then we can do a question and answer portion of the presentation. Excuse me. Big Blue Button is an open source web conferencing targeting distance education. Uh, we want to, our goal is to provide remote students with a high quality learning experience. And the reason we started with, we developed Big Blue Button is for universities who are paying a lot of money for other commercial web conferencing system, and to try and improve the adoption of web conferencing systems for universities in order to deliver courses remotely, and also provide the ability to integrate with third-party learning content management systems such as Moodle. Big Blue Button right now is being used for virtual office hours. So professors, instead of them waiting for students to drop into their office during office hours, they can just log in, and students doesn't have to go to campus in order to talk to professors. It's also used for small group collaboration for students who are working on projects, and if they're from different places, or they just don't want to go to campus to discuss things. And also right now it's also used to deliver lectures to students who are located remotely on sometimes all over the world. Big Blue Button is built on top of other open source projects, and the two most important ones are Red 5, which is the Flash Media server equivalent, open source, and FreeSwitch, which is being used to deliver the voice conferencing system, and also used to connect to the public switch telephone network. So people can dial in using their regular phone. And there are others, Swift tools used to convert documents to Swift and Tomcat, Redis. So I'm not going to explain or each one of them. And so if you haven't used BigBlueButton before, this is what the user interface looks like. So on the bottom on the right hand side we have the chat, and at the bottom right hand we have the webcam for the presenter and the users who want to share their webcams. And on the middle is the slides, presentation slides, so the presenter can share his presentation. And the left hand side we have the audio, the listeners, which are the people who are joined using the voice conferencing application. And also we have the users, which are the people who are joined on the web conferencing, on the web conference client. And we have also buttons there, the desktop sharing for if the presenter wants to, share their desktop, and the headset icon when user wants to join the voice conferencing using the voice over IP instead of dialing in through the phone, and the webcam icon if the user wants to share her webcam. How did BigBlueButton get started? BigBlueButton got started Carleton University here in Ottawa, Canada, in the Technology Innovation Management program. So I was a master's student in the program, and I was doing research on open source business models, how companies were trying to make money out of open source software that they have created. So I was looking at Apple, IBM, Red Hat, and others. And at that time, my supervisor was teaching a course, and most of his students were working for the technology companies here in Ottawa, and most of them were traveling. So he wanted to allow students to be able to participate on his lectures even if they're out of town and in their hotel rooms. And at that time, they were paying a commercial system, and it was costing them a lot of money. Since we looked at different open source software, we thought maybe we can use other open source software to build an open source web conferencing system. So at the very beginning, we just we went for the easiest one. So we had Asterisk. We connected it to the phone network and got a 1-800 number. So students are able to dial in using their phone into Asterisk and join the voice conference, and the professor just emails the PowerPoint slides ahead of time, and the professor says, okay, let's look at page 2, page 1, and the user just prints the PowerPoint and follows along from using the voice conference. And that cut down on the cost. And so we said we thought, okay, it seems to be working. Let's do some more. So we started adding the chat, ability to upload, share the video, and also share the slides. So instead of emailing the slides beforehand, now the professor is able to upload the slides and then can actually move the slides on his own, and others are able to see the slides that's currently being presented. And after that, we thought that, okay, it seems to be working, and it seems to be useful, so maybe others will be interested in using it too. So we created packaging. We package it for Ubuntu, and then created a virtual machine so others are able to download it and test it without going through the uh, a lot of steps on trying to get BigBlueButton running. And then we got a request saying, okay, everything's good, but I want to share my desktop. So we investigated and implemented our first attempt of desktop sharing. Once we had desktop sharing, another request comes in, said we don't want to pay for phone 1-800 numbers. Can we just do voice over IP? I said, okay, let's take a look around how others are implementing voice over IP. So we learned about that and did our own implementation for voice over IP based on other open source software out there. And now people were able to join the voice conferencing by just using their microphone and speakers on their computer. And we said, okay, now we got most of the things that people want. Let's try and make it stable. So we tried refactoring the code, so at least we don't have to reboot it every 30 minutes when students go for break. And then more improvements to desktop sharing. People complained that it was very slow, so we looked at how we can improve it. And also we thought that others are been asking how they can help improving BigBlueButton. So we created a developer's virtual machine. And then we made improvements of BigBlueButton more for voice over IP. And another company came to us and they said, we've got our external system and we want to make it work with BigBlueButton. Do you have an API? And we said we didn't have any APIs because we haven't really thought about opening it yet for third party, but it will be done in the future. And they said, well, we want it now, so we'll have one of our developers create an API and we'll give it to you guys. So one of their developers created the API and donated it to BigBlueButton. And then a couple of people from China said, oh, we want to offer this in China. Do you guys offer this in Chinese? Unfortunately, none of us were Chinese and we didn't know Chinese. So those guys said, okay, we'll work on it so that it can be localized into Chinese and into other languages. So now we're localized into 35 languages. Once we had that, we got more improvements to desktop sharing and created a packaging for CentOS. People were asking for CentOS packages. But then we realized that supporting multiple operating systems was needed a lot of resources, which we didn't have. So we decided to drop support for CentOS and just continue with Ubuntu packaging and spend our time improving on BigBlueButton instead of maintaining BigBlueButton on multiple platforms. And we created a whiteboard that allows presenters to annotate the presentation. And then here around November in 2010, we made improvements to voice over IP. We switched to free switch because we wanted to use Speak's codec, which was being supported by Flash. I think Flash version 9 or version 10. And Speaks was really good at being used for voice over IP. And around this time too, we got into the Google Summer of Code. So one of the students provided a real-time translation using the Google Translate API. So people in the chat are able to type the chat messages in their own language, and when it reaches the other users, it gets translated to their own language. So if you've got a Russian guy typing on the chat in Russian, and you have another person Spanish, it gets translated automatically to Spanish using the Google Translate, and the Spanish person will be able to read it in Spanish. More improvements into the voice over IP, and then we get, based on our feedback from universities, they said we need, the most important feature that we need is record and playback. We want our students to be able to listen or play back the lecture in case they miss the lecture. So now we're implementing record and playback, which is a part of our point 8, and it will be released soon, as we're now trying to resolve the minor issues that we have for point 8. And another person in Brazil, they wanted to be able to lay out the webcams. If you've got several webcams opened, the webcams just open everywhere on the client. So they said it's ugly. So we'll create it so that now we can have a Google Hangout type of display where you can choose the webcam that you view, and they get laid out properly in nicely in tiles. And more improvements to audio. We got complaints that we have when we provide support for BigBlueButton, saying that we've joined the voice conferencing, but the voice conference, but we can't hear anything. And it just turns out that the microphone settings is incorrect. So we tried adding a settings step there, so when people join the voice conference, at least they know that they've got the proper settings to be able to hear and talk. And also, we didn't have support for portrait documents. BigBlueButton before was able to only present landscape documents properly, but if you upload a portrait document, the viewers aren't able to read the text properly. So we added a fit to width. So now you can upload a portrait document and present it nicely. The open source community. So we've got a very active open source community. We've got almost more than 1,000 members on our developer on our mailing list, and we've got a lot of emails there each day, and we try to answer them, all of them, as soon as we can. So we've got now 15,000 messages, and as I said, we got into the Google Summer of Code, and we had 2 students. One was working on the translate, and the other one started exploring the record and playback, and now he's actually working full-time on BigBlueButton, and that's his job is to improve BigBlueButton, and also improve the record and playback part of BigBlueButton. We're hosted in GitHub, so a lot. We've been for 100, more than 100 times, and people are forking to get back to make changes to BigBlueButton, and also sometimes they send us their changes and we integrate it into the core. And we've got, as I said, we're localized to 35 languages. And late in 2011, we got into the Mozilla Web Forward program. So they're an accelerator program from Mozilla, helping open source projects become successful. So as you know, Mozilla is the maker of Firefox, and they're very supportive of open source projects. So we get advice from them, and also resources from them on how to manage open source projects, and also how to improve the open source processes and other things. We basically talk to them on the WebRTC for support for real-time collaboration using HTML5, and because right now people want to be able to participate using the iPad and all the mobile devices. And as with the packaging and the VM, we try to have a BigBlueButton get installed and others to be able to install it within 30 minutes and try it right away after the installation. And there's a project in Brazil called MConf. They basically created an Android client for BigBlueButton. So they want their users to be able to join the web conference or the lectures using their Android phone. Another member of our community, Seneca College out of Toronto, Canada, they created a web polling module, which they want professors to be able to poll students from within BigBlueButton and also from outside of BigBlueButton. So I think their use case was that they have some device that will allow students within the classroom to vote, and also for students who are participating remotely to be able to vote on the poll that the professor displays within BigBlueButton. BigBlueButton is integrated into several other third-party applications, and as you can see here, BigBlueButton is integrated with Moodle 1.9 and version 2, and it's integrated with also Sakai and others. So I'm going to talk about the integration setup for Moodle and BigBlueButton. So Moodle is used for asynchronous collaboration and also used as a learning management system and gradebook. And BigBlueButton is used for synchronous for real-time collaboration. So to install BigBlueButton, it's just one step. So if you've got a server with the at least minimum requirements, and once you have the Ubuntu, right now we support Ubuntu 10.04. Once you have that installed, then you can just issue the command sudo apt-get install BigBlueButton, and you will have BigBlueButton installed within 30 minutes. Once you have installed BigBlueButton, you need to create a salt, which is a shared secret for your server and also your Moodle server. So this is to be able for the Moodle server to communicate with BigBlueButton securely. So here you have when you type bbbconf salt, it will give you the URL and the salt, which you'll have to remember or copy somewhere, and you'll need that when you configure Moodle to be able to connect to BigBlueButton. And here is the part where you will be configuring your Moodle server, and you'll be here. You need to download two plugins: the recordings BN and BigBlueButton BN. So BigBlueButton BN is the plugin to do the scheduling of the lectures, and recordings is the plugin to allow you to display the list of recordings for a class. So to install the activity module, you need to download it and then just unzip it into the Moodle directory, and then you go to the to the Moodle, inside Moodle, and set the URL and the salt. This is the two information that you got from BigBlueButton when you run the command bbconf salt. And once you have that, you just you save the changes, and now you're integrated with BigBlueButton. The next step will be to schedule your session. So here you go to this, get the general settings, and you type in the name, the welcome message. This message gets displayed from within BigBlueButton. So these are your reminders, or things that you want students to be able to read when they log into BigBlueButton. So this gets displayed in the chat window. And then you've got options here if you want to open BigBlueButton a separate window, and also if the student must wait until the professor joins. And here on the scheduled sessions, if you have this disabled, this means that the session continues on forever. It doesn't end. But if you want to have the session have a particular start time and end time, you can enable the date boxes here. And then you have to make some decision. If you want it recorded, you have to check on the record option, and also the duration of the recording. So here the duration basically just allows you to put the limit on the number on the length of the recording. So you don't want to have BigBlueButton recording for several days, otherwise you run out of disk space. And you're done. So after you have configured BigBlueButton, it will show up on the outline page, and students and professors will be able to click on this link, and they get joined into a BigBlueButton session. And at the end of the session, if the meeting is recorded, it gets processed, and then it gets displayed on the page that lists the recordings for the particular course. And right now, we support multiple types of playback. So here you can see it's playing. Excuse me. Just drink some water. Here's a simple lecture from Carlton in one of their courses. It's being played using HTML5. We leverage a project from Mozilla called Popcorn, and we're playing the slides, audio, and chat. And another type of playback, we integrate with another open source project called Matterhorn. So on Matterhorn, you can actually play back the desktop and the webcam and the audio. So in this for the first release, we we just decided to not play back everything. Otherwise, it'll take us a long period of time to implement the playback. So we just think of the minimal way that we can play back that will be useful for the users. And we thought that slides and audio and chat will be good enough for the first release. But in the future, we'll add and implement playback of everything that goes on during the live session. So here we are with BigBlueButton 0.8, which is our current development, which we'll be releasing pretty soon. So these are the features that we have. We got the recording of the sessions, improvements of the audio. So there's very minimal delay, and playback using HTML5, so you'll be able to play this back on your mobile devices. You don't need Flash. Integration with the Matterhorn project, and also here you can upload the slides, so you can do pre-upload of slides. So instead of when you join BigBlueButton, the presenter uploads the presentation from within BigBlueButton. Presenters can actually pre-upload their slide when they join, so they can have I think in from within the third party application. I'm not sure. I think this is not implemented yet in Moodle, but you can actually have third party application upload the slides ahead of time, and when the professor joins, the slide gets displayed already. And what's in the future for BigBlueButton? We're basically targeting 4 areas. So we'd like to improve BigBlueButton core to make it a lot more stable, make it easy to use, and add more features. So we've got more requests from users, improvements of the whiteboard, improvements of desktop sharing, and modularity. Right now, BigBlueButton is difficult to configure, so that you only want webcam or just presentation or just chat. In the future, we want it to make a lot more modular, so that users are able to pick and choose on which part of BigBlueButton they want to use and configure. And there's also work on scalability. So as I've mentioned before, we try to say that BigBlueButton can be used only for less than 25 users. This is because right now we provide full collaboration. So in the case of full collaboration, everybody can talk, everybody can share their webcam, and that basically takes a lot of resources on the server. So in the future, we're going to have provide a webinar mode, so that only a few users are able to talk, are able to share their webcam, and will be able to support a lot more users. And another things that we're looking into is support for HTML5 and supporting for other platforms. This is for playback on mobile devices, and also for being able to for users being able to participate using their mobile devices. And as I said, we want to improve the usability, being able allow the user to lay out the screen better. So right now you just tied to a few layout, and users can move their windows around. Ability to share the presentation full screen, and the most important one is support for students with disabilities. So we're investigating that right now. This is in the US. I think the requirement is to support for section 508. So we're looking at how to make BigBlueButton people who are visually impaired able to participate in BigBlueButton, and those who are hearing impaired. We have a local school here in Canada, here in Ottawa, Algonquin College. So they're doing a review on the user interface of BigBlueButton, and they're going to provide suggestions on how to make BigBlueButton a lot more easier to use. So again, to recap, we're going to do full support of playback of video, desktop sharing, and whiteboard in the future, and add more components, which are what our users are asking for. Synchronized video playback. So this is being able to play back a YouTube video from within BigBlueButton. Integrate the polling from the what the Seneca students have done. Shared notes, so this ability to share or type notes from within BigBlueButton, just like I forgot this Etherpad feature, and breakout rooms, where it's for when students get grouped together and they go out and discuss and then come back into the main meeting room to talk about what they have discussed. Request for text tool on the whiteboard. Right now, the whiteboard only supports line and several shapes, and people want to actually add text on the presentation. And improvements to desktop sharing, which is a little bit slow right now compared to others in the market. For modularity, we want to integrate with other voice systems. Right now, we only support FreeSwitch. So we want to support things like being able to call from Skype into BigBlueButton. So that's what we'll be looking at, and probably like Google Talk. Modularity of client-side components. Yeah, so easier to add, remove third-party modules. So allow other. We can't we can't develop all the features that everybody needs. So we'll have to figure out a way to allow others to be able to develop the modules and features that they want, and then to be able to drop it into BigBlueButton easily, just like with Moodle. If you have a feature you want, you can create your own module and just drop it in the module and activate it from within Moodle. And the layout manager, making the user able to control the layout of BigBlueButton. And for HTML5, we want to implement it in 3 phases. So right now, you can play back recording using HTML5, but in the future, we'll allow a full two-way participation for HTML5. Right now, the limitation of HTML5 is that the browser isn't able to access the webcam and the audio, so they can't participate on BigBlueButton to listen to the voice conference. So right now, Google and Mozilla are very active, and all the other browser vendors are very active on the WebRTC standards, and we're also monitoring that on its progress. And once we're able to use the devices, then we can try and implement an HTML5 client, so users can participate the BigBlueButton session without using Flash. And also here, support for the mobile platforms, iPad, iPhone, and Android devices. And here's a links to our project. If you have if you're interested more in finding out about BigBlueButton, so there's Twitter, there's a blog, and Facebook. I don't. Yeah, yes, we've got a Facebook account. I I don't go there, but it seems like it's very active. And we have also the number one area part or area where we usually are very active are in the Google groups. So if you've got questions there, you can send into our mailing list. There's the users. If you're just a user of BigBlueButton and want to learn more how to use it, or if you're an admin, learn how to set up, or questions on how to set up BigBlueButton, or if you want to make improvements to BigBlueButton, you can sign up on the developers mailing list. And also there's commercial support for the integration of Moodle and BigBlueButton. and you can find the companies that are providing support, commercial support on our website there, BigBlueButton.org support. So to wrap up, our goal is to provide universities and colleges their students to have a high quality learning experience, and also if you can want to help and try out Big Blue Button and tell us your experience, good or bad, and also suggestions on how we can improve Big Blue Button for your needs. And hopefully, when you try it again, it'll be a good experience. And or if it's already good, an even better experience. And that's my last slide. So if you have any questions, I'm more than happy to answer them. Yes, we have a demo site. It's at http demo bigbluebutton.org. And also, if you have a Moodle that you want to test with BigBlueButton, we have a test server called testinstall.blindsidenetworks.com. You can use that as your BigBlueButton server to integrate with your Moodle instance and see how it works with Moodle. Oh, thanks, Richard. Glad that it's working for you. Yeah, if you run into problems or have any issues, you know where to find us. Thanks, Trevor. You get to get your IT team. Yeah, if you can't get your IT department to install a Linux server and you want to just experiment with it, you can actually install it on EC2. So that's what we do. We sometimes we install the Big Blue Button into an Amazon EC2 medium instance, and then we just run it and test. So that way you're not investing on a permanent server when you're just trying to evaluate it. And yeah, so you can shut it down, and then if you want to demo it, turn it back on again, so it doesn't cost you much. Any more questions? Okay, you're welcome, and thank you.
Um, and hello, this is Shane here. Just adding on behalf of the iMoot team, thank you, Richard, for sharing about Big Blue Button today. Yeah, I'm sure, as you can see, there is a lot of interest.
Well, thank you, Shane, for organizing this. It's been great.
Yeah, pleasure. And for
A lot more people are typing. Okay,
yes, oh yeah.
go ahead.
I was going to say, if there's any more, keep the conversation going. I was going to say, after this, in 45 minutes is the final wrap-up session for the iMoot. So encourage everyone to get to that if you can. So thank you, everyone.
Okay, thank you, Shane. Okay, I'll